In this video, I'm going to share with you how I'd start a one-person business using Claude. I'll be running the whole process with you as if I were to start from scratch as well, from research, ideation, creating your digital product, creating a platform to sell your product, creating a selling machine, and also building an audience and building a following so that you can start selling your products online. So be sure to watch this video from start to end, but as usual, I'll provide all the timestamps in the description box below. All right, let's get started. The reason why we can start a one-person business by simply using Claude as our primary AI tool is because Claude's got built-in functions, built-in plugins, built-in connectors, and everything that you want to create and think about and coming up with ideas, research can all be done using Claude. For example, because Claude's got connectors, it allows you to connect with other apps such as Canva so that you can build your products and create assets of all sorts, all inside Claude. We won't go into too much detail right now, but I wanted to just share with you why we are using Claude to begin with. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Step one is doing our research and coming up with an idea for our product that we'll be selling. This is a crucial step because we don't just want to come up with an idea because we think that it might sell well. We want to do our proper research and we want to do it, of course, as relevant and as close to our niche as possible, something specific that solves a real problem in your niche. Thankfully, I've got a prompt to help you do this. So launch Claude, and here's what you want to enter. You want to say, I want to start a one-person business selling digital products. And mind you, this is the whole idea of this one-person business. We don't want to create an inventory, create physical products, do any drop shipping of any sort. We are creating specifically digital products because of the convenience and the ability to be able to sell products 24/7 around the clock. So moving on and going back to the prompt, I want to start a one-person business selling digital products. My skills are X, Y, Z, whatever it may be, okay? So my skills are, let's say, yoga, calisthenics, playing the piano, playing the flute, whatever it may be, you can list it all here, be as specific and niche as possible, because you may be in the, let's say, the bodybuilding niche, but you know, bodybuilding is quite a broad niche in itself. So you want to dive a bit deeper, you know, helping people of this age group, this gender, perhaps, whatever it may be, added in there. However, a little shortcut here, if you don't want to manually put in your skills and your niche, is to simply request or prompt Claude to look back. You know, you have memory on what I'm good at, things I like to talk about, my personality, content ideas that I may have posted in the past. So get Claude prompted to look back at things that you've said before. And the next part is research what's selling well on Etsy and Gumroad in this space and recommend 10 product ideas with pricing. If you don't know what Etsy is a marketplace where people sell digital goods. It could also be physical goods, printables, what have you. And Gumroad is something similar, except it's more so a selling platform where you can sell your products using Gumroad, and then they will do the fulfillment for you. The next part is recommend 10 product ideas with pricing as well, so suggesting the pricing for you. So this is where we are leveraging the power of AI to help us brainstorm these sorts of things. Now, to fast forward and shortcut things a bit, this is what I prompted. I want to start a one-person business selling digital products. You have memory of what skills I have and my niche. So rather than telling it again what my interests, hobbies, my niche, my skills are, I simply am referring and getting Claude more so to refer to the memory that it has of me and the conversations that we've had since I've used Claude for quite a while now. And everything else remains the same. Now, once you hit submit, you will get some ideas and a kind of analysis. You'll find the ideas listed in point form. You've got, you know, AI Creator Prompt Vault, free tool to AdSense Playbook, AI Newsletter Growth Kit. And these are some ideas based on content that I posted on my YouTube channel. So it's great that it referred to that as well. And even this, the One Person AI Business, which is, it's suggesting a signature course priced at $4.99. So each of these has kind of like a price or price range. At this point, what you could do is narrow down the ideas that you may like, and then you can do even deeper research. With Claude, of course, you can change the model so that it thinks more, and you can change the level, so max, depending on, of course, your plan. And then it'll obviously use the amount of tokens based on what you choose. So if you wanted to think longer, do more research, and actually give you a more better result, perhaps, you can set it right here. To give you a quick idea of the types of digital products that you could create things like planners built on Notion or any other workspace system or project management system. You could create templates. You could create basic guides. You could create an online course. You could create kits where you've got multiple things and then provide that as a bundle, a package, prompt pack. Depending on your niche, you could even sell spreadsheets. So the types of digital products can be endless, really. But once you've narrowed in on that idea, what we're going to do is come up with an outline for it. Or if you've already got notes, if you've got ideas for that particular product, then what we're going to do is start a new chat. And this is where the second step comes in. We are going to create our digital product. Okay, now that we've come up with an idea for our digital product, what we're going to do is actually create it. And again, we are using Claude for this. What we're going to do now is use a connector. What I like to do is connect it up with a design tool that will help us create that digital product. It does depend what you are creating. But for this example, this video tutorial, I want to show you how to create a guide, okay, a step-by-step guide on whatever it may be. So for that, you could either use Canva, you could use Gamma, which I recommend. It produces a lot high quality guides for you. Canva, it is very limited and it gives you very basic templates. So in this case, what I'm going to do is choose Gamma, right? Before you're able to even see Gamma, what we're going to do is add a connector, right? So we're going to add a connector and browse connectors, and then you simply search for Gamma. All right, Gamma right here, connect it up. Make sure you have a Gamma account, really straightforward. And then once you've signed in, allowed permissions, you'll see now under connectors, Gamma. Make sure that's enabled. Now, what we're going to do, once you've gathered your notes, your outline perhaps for your digital product, it could be a set of points based on the chapters that you want to discuss in your digital product. So I've got mine here, and this guide that I'm going with is on how to build an app and then monetize it. I've got my guide here and my prompt creator guide on vibe coding simple web apps using Hosting Horizons, which is a tool to vibe code. I've attached my video and the video script on the process I took. So these are what my notes entail. And then you can discuss the aesthetics that you want, futuristic with purples and black. Suggest at least 10 titles for this guide before actually producing it. So that's what I'm prompting it to do. So once you've done that, it'll give you some suggested titles. So you can see all the ones that it came up with for me. I went with Prompt to Profit. That looks good. Building monetizable web apps with AI. Now, once you continue, it'll then design it. With Gamma, it does require a paid account. That's where being able to connect with other apps like perhaps Canva may do for you. All right, which can be free. This is just one example by simply using Gamma, which is what I recommend. Okay, it'll take in the aesthetics that I like. It'll read all the notes more so that I attached. What I also requested it to do is ensure that it added about 500 plus words per page. It'll take a few minutes to produce. Once it's done that, you can see a preview of it, and then we can edit in Gamma, and then we can open it up and continue editing in Gamma. Okay, so you can see what it produced, pretty good. Dynamic pages, great aesthetics, consistent with the colors that I requested it to use. and it uses even these kind of diagrams as well, which is pretty cool. And then from here, what I can do is export it as a PDF, which is one of the preferred formats if we are selling digital products. So at this stage, of course, you want to go through the content that Gamma has produced. So the reason why we connected up with Gamma in the first place is because, yes, Gamma is, first of all, a tool to help you build presentations, social media assets, documents, websites, and graphics. But we're using the power of Claude as the brain, the thinking, coming up with the content, and then passing all that data, all that information to Gamma to produce. But once you're done, save it as a PDF, and then we're moving on to the next step. So you've created your product, now what? Well, just because you've created your product, it doesn't mean it will sell itself. What you need is a selling system. That's where email marketing comes in, one of the most underutilized marketing channels that I see creators not using more of. So rather than fighting the algorithm, thinking whether your latest post or your latest video will do well, you have complete control with email marketing, and that's where today's sponsor comes in, Omnisend. I personally use Omnisend to send out emails to my email subscribers. You can see one of the examples here of one of my latest newsletters promoting my latest video. It gives me all the stats that I need, the open rate, the click rate. You can even create workflows in Omnisend. So let's say you want to create a welcome flow. So when someone subscribes to your newsletter, they get an email immediately saying, hey, thanks for signing up. Here's your free guide, or whatever it may be. You could just introduce yourself. But you can create all sorts of workflows like abandoned cart. Let's say someone goes to your shopping cart, but they leave. You can create an automation where it triggers after 1 day and then sends another email offering some sort of discount. But one of the easiest things you can do is set up an automation so that it runs on predetermined days from when they signed up. So day 1, day 3, day 5, day 7, whatever frequency you want, so that you can constantly promote and tell your stories in your emails. So more exposure to your products and your brand, the more sales you will gain. What's more and what's new is that Omnisend recently launched its connector. So now you can directly connect Claude with Omnisend and ask it something like, how did my recent email campaign do? And then you can see the clicks, the opens, and then it gives you a little analysis. And you can also do things like pull my campaigns from the last 9 months and give me some suggestions on subject line patterns that I could implement in the future. So it's perfect if you want to know what's actually working, what's not, and what to do in the future. And what's more and what's a fact is that Omnisend customers get back $79 for every dollar spent in marketing, which is the highest in any marketing channel that you can find online. By signing up using the link in the description box below, that'll take you to this page where I've hooked you up with a special coupon code, Aurelius30. You'll get 30% off for the first 3 months. Checking out the pricing, I do recommend the standard plan if you're just starting out. However, if you are wanting to move from your current existing email service provider, they will help you shift over and move over all of your email campaigns, your newsletters, and all of your workflows all within 5 days, and you could pay up to 35% less. This next step involves choosing a platform to sell your digital product that you just created. Now, this is a store that I created for the purpose of demonstrations. You can see my store here. We've got wallpapers that I'm selling, this guide on healthy boundaries, and then we've got Yoga 101. Someone clicks it, they can choose a basic, pro pack, add to cart, this and that. So you can very well do this using the platform that I'll share with you. Most of the time, people recommend telling you to use Gumroad to sell your digital products. However, I used to recommend it, but now because they've increased it to 10% transaction fee plus 50 cents, this has become quite a lot for someone who's just starting out, right? Which is why I recommend an alternate and similar tool called Payhip, where their pricing is the half amount, right? 5% transaction fee plus any fees that PayPal/Stripe charges, and it's free to sign up. There's no monthly fees. With Payhip, it allows you to create a store. So if you go to store and launch your store builder, you can customize the store the way that you want. You can see that all of the products that are created are listed here. With the product that you created, all you need to do is just head to products, create a new product, and then select digital product. From here, simply fill out all the details, choose a pricing based on your research using Claude, add any relevant images, some copy here in the description. And this is another step, right? Coming up with assets like the images and perhaps a realistic book cover. If you go back to Claude and use Claude's Claude Design, and this is only available on the web version, not the native app version on your Mac or PC, you can very well design book covers like this. So we've got prompt to profit. That's if you want to stick to the Claude ecosystem. However, I find that Gemini, Google Gemini that is, produces better results in terms of creating realistic mock-ups and book covers like this. And then head back to your PayHip account where you're adding a new product and then upload any image assets right here so that you have something that looks like this. Okay, moving on to the next step. You want to build an audience, you want to gain traffic, you want to get eyeballs to your product and build this one-person business. What I recommend you do is start creating content, because without content, you won't be able to reach that audience in the first place. I may be biased, but I highly recommend starting a YouTube channel no matter what your niche is, because long form is where it's at these days. You can check out my channel. I talk a lot about the latest tools, AI, productivity. So think about your niche. What topics can you talk about? Again, refer back to Claude. Think about some of the ideas, some of the topics that you've researched in the past, or using it right now to come up and brainstorm those ideas. Why does content work in the first place? Well, you're giving free value, right? When you are giving free value, you are building trust with that audience and reaching new audiences, right? For instance, I've got this video on how this AI tool turns Google Maps links into websites. Just talking about a cool tool that I found on producthunt.com. And then where the magic happens is in the description, right? People want to learn more about what this tool is. How do I sign up? How do I get there? So I've got a link that takes them to Brilla. This could tie into your own product. If you're talking about, let's say, some yoga technique, that's your topic, that's your niche, you link it back in your description to your actual product that you're selling, that digital product that we just created. This is tested, it's proven on my channel. This is my main moneymaker, and I use YouTube as a platform to gain that audience. And I also am building a newsletter at the same time. So this goes with the email marketing aspect, where I'm building an email database, not just trying to get views on YouTube, relying on that algorithm, putting my eggs in one basket, more so also diversifying, right, to my list. And with that list, I can promote my latest products. I can announce my latest content and videos. And with your email list, of course, you can create those automations, those workflows, and follow up on your audience so that if they don't happen to buy the first time, you're given multiple times, multiple chances to promote your product in the future. The beauty of YouTube is that it has this compounding effect where you post this week a video on a certain topic. The next week, you post another video. Next week after, you post another video, and you're gaining views from that first video that you created, that second, third. It's not guaranteed, of course. It really depends how well your video does in the end, whether you've optimized it for search. That's also another topic in itself. So this compounding effect happens, and you're gaining views from multiple videos that you've recorded and published on YouTube. And when this happens, that's when you gain the audience, and that's when, of course, sales happen. So my words of encouragement is that just because you've posted a few videos doesn't mean that is all you should do. You got to keep going. It took me about 2 years to actually gain some traction on my channel. So it's not about just hoping and praying that this video will do well. It's about refining in the end. You've got one video posted, may not have done well. Learn from that, see what sticks, see what topics are out there as well that people are talking about, are craving for. Always do your research. Again, using AI tools, leveraging Claude to see what topics you could potentially talk about. And what I also like to do in Claude is use the vidIQ connector, and then you can analyze past videos, perhaps ideas to brainstorm as well. But there we go, little bit by little bit, you will gain traction. Just stay consistent and on the path. So if you were to ask me, how do I start a one-person business? Those are the steps that I would take again. And if I were to lose everything again, exact steps that I just outlined in this video. All the links mentioned in this video, timestamps all in the description box below, so you can refer back to it, go to the links and resources that I've provided. Omnisend link will be in the description box below, as well as that coupon code to save 30% off for the first 3 months. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.